Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much to all my subscribers, returning subscribers and new subscribers. Thank you so much. So I just wanted to share a story of what happened to me over the weekend. Went to a country park and I didn't realize that when I got out of the car that I dropped my phone. Now this is quite an old iPhone version and already had cracks on it, things like that. And I had been meaning to actually upgrade the phone, but was just not, because I've got another phone. I just was not settled in my mind that I should be carrying around two expensive phones. So when I lost it, I was quite frantic because this was an earlier phone, as I said, which had most of my information on it, and it was quite valuable to me. So when I got home from the country park, I searched frantically. I threw my bag, all the content, I threw it on the bed. I looked everywhere in the house. Then I remembered that iPhone has a feature of Find My Phone, and since the other phone was an iPhone, I went into setting and I clicked on Find My Phone, and it was showing me that even though the Find My Phone was enabled on that other phone that I'd lost, it was showing me that on the 1st of December, precisely about 5:15, that the phone was, located in the house, and that was all it was showing. So it was a bit confusing. It wasn't, it had that date, but I still was under the impression that because it said that the Find My Phone was on, that surely the gap between the 1st of December and the beginning of January was quite a lot. So it should actually show me the last location of the phone. Anyway, that night I just prayed over the phone and decided that the next morning I would go back to the park and look for the phone. Now I had rung the phone. Every time I rang, it just went straight to voicemail, and I was certain that it was like 45% charged, so the battery couldn't have been dead. So I was thinking, oh, either someone, had taken it and then just switched it off. A lot of thoughts was just going through my mind. And on that Sunday, just before church, I decided to go back to the park, and I'll just rewind a bit because there is a lot more to the story. So the night that I went to, or the evening rather, I should say, that I went to the country park, the park that I went to was not actually the park I wanted to go to. So upon driving into the actual park where I ended up at, I I was asking a guy that was walking towards the car, and I stopped him. I asked him, I said, do you know how to get to the other park? And he was like, yeah, you will need to come back out of this park. And he gave me the direction. And I said to him, oh, what time does it close? And apparently it was going to close anytime soon, which was like maybe like half an hour or so. And he also told me that, oh, the time was also reaching outside on the sign on the way into the park. So I thanked him, and then he said to me, make sure you go to church tomorrow. And I was quite taken aback because I've never met a stranger that, would say to me, make sure you go to church tomorrow. That, well, I think he actually said, hope you're going to church tomorrow. He was asking the question. And I said yes. And he then said, make sure you go to church tomorrow. Okay. Then I said, oh, that I was thanking him so much for the directions to the other park, and I said, "Oh, I'll just go and turn around, maybe, and go to the other park." So he said, "Okay." Then he said, "Well, I might still meet him on the way out, but if I don't, then he'll see me in heaven." Well, actually, my husband was in the car, so he said he will see us in heaven. Okay, so we kind of like said, okay, yes, and we thanked him so much, and then we left him, and he walked off, and we went further into the park. And when we got in there, that there was a National Discovery Center and so many other things in the park. So we decided that we might as well look at what the park has got to offer just before it got really dark. Okay, so fast forward to the next morning. So the next morning again, I was still ringing the phone. I was still wondering, oh, I'd tried to get through to the helpline for the park, but it just went into voicemail. So I just thought, okay, the first thing to do is just to be there when they open. I couldn't get there exactly when they open. I got there maybe like 20 past 10, and already, there were a few cars in the park, and exactly where we parked the car the night before, that place was empty. And as we drove nearer, lo and behold, my phone was there on the ground, dirty, a bit wet because it had rained a bit. And I picked it up, and it said system, that the SIM was unavailable, something to do with the system being off or something. And I was like, oh no, someone got hold of this phone. They probably opened it, took the SIM, and then they threw the phone away. But no, the phone, it was asking me to put in my details, my passcode, and then, put in my ID, which I did, and the phone came on. And it was good, it was okay. I was a bit taken aback. I was like, wow, quite some few cars were parked on the other side. And that wasn't how it was the other evening when we came, because where my phone was where all the cars were parked when we came. So if I'd been ringing it and someone heard it, they might have picked it up, or someone might have picked it and taken it to lost and found. A lot could have happened. But no, the phone was there. It was on the ground. It was, from afar, it was not even, it was looking more like a toy, and I just thought to myself that this phone that is very valuable to me, has all my information, is just lying there, has been there overnight, rain has bitten it, and also could have happened, but yeah, it was still there. And I kind of like had a revelation that a lot of people look at other people, looking down on them as if they don't carry anything, that they don't have any value, they're not worth something. They look on the outside appearance, but we know that God looks on the inside. He says he looks on the heart of man. And it just kind of like was so very puzzling to me, how I met this guy and he said to me, make sure you go to church. Now, the scenario was that my church started at 9. The park opens at 10. On any normal day, I would have just gone to church first, and then maybe I might not have made it to the park until maybe like 12. But then I thought to myself, yes, I'll still go to church, but why don't I go to another location, another branch of the church, which is like almost an hour away, so that I can go to that park and look for the phone. And that was a very good decision, even though it was going to be quite a journey going, from Essex to Kent. But it was quite satisfying that I was able to locate the phone and still make it to church. And I'll never forget what that guy said. Make sure you go to church. Even if he's not even talking about a physical church, I really don't know, but he just said make sure you go to church. And it's all very important in this era that we continue to seek God in truth, because the times are changing. So I just wanted to drop this quick video just to share my story, and I hope it encourages someone that just trust that you are carrying something valuable to God inside of you. No one can see the inside, but God sees the inside. And when you carry yourself as someone that is valuable, then it would radiate out. Others will start to see it. So thank you very much, guys. Please like my video, please share, please subscribe, and I'll hope to see you in the next one.